Welcome back, Cubby friends. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas and New Year. It's time to take out your honeycomb handbooks. Today we're going to work on Bear Hug 10 together. Let's start by listening to a story about our friend Timothy.
Timothy and Cubby Bear sat around a campfire at the farm. Timothy's friends, Will and Mia from Cubby's, were there too.
Dad, can you tell us a story? You always tell stories around the campfire.
Sure. Tonight, I want to tell you a story from the Bible. All the stories in the Bible are true. They really happened.
Are there any stories about trains in the Bible?
Sorry, Will. They didn't have trains yet. The people in the Bible usually walked or rode on donkeys or horses. Tonight, I want to tell you about God's people, the Israelites. God gave them a wonderful land to live in called Canaan. God told them to build a big, beautiful temple where they could worship Him. God said, "Don't worship any other gods but me." Do you think the Israelites obeyed?
No. I've heard about the Israelites before, and they didn't usually obey.
Right, Timothy. Most of the Israelites didn't obey. They started worshiping gods that weren't real, like Baal. One day, the prophet Elijah told the Israelites to meet him at Mount Carmel. Elijah said to them, "You call to Baal, and I will call to God." The God who answers with fire is the true God. Does anyone know what happened next?
Baal and God shot fireballs at each other, and God won?
No, Baal didn't do anything. He couldn't, because he wasn't alive. He was just a statue. When Elijah prayed, God sent a mighty fire down from heaven. It burned up the wood and stones and water where Elijah was standing.
Cool! Did the Israelites worship God then?
They did for a little while, and then they went back to their other gods. But some Israelites loved the true God, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Those are funny names.
Shadrach and his buddies worked for King Nebuchadnezzar. The king made a giant golden statue, and he told all the men who worked for him to bow down and worship the statue. Shadrach and his buddies said, "No, we won't bow." They knew that only God was the true God. The king was fuming mad at them, and he threw them into a fiery furnace. But God sent an angel to keep Shadrach and his buddies safe. They walked around in the fire, and not even one hair on their heads was burnt.
That's a good story. Are there any stories about princesses in the Bible?
There is a story about a beautiful queen named Esther. She saved her people from a wicked man. Your mom can read that story to you from the Bible.
If God did all these awesome things, then everyone should worship Him.
You're right, Timothy. Everyone should worship God. But sadly, not everyone does. But you can worship God.
I will. God is the most awesome and most powerful of all. There is no one like Him.
Let's say our core truth together. God is the one true God. Cubbies, you can worship God. Worship is showing love and respect to God because of how awesome He is. There are many ways to worship God. You don't even have to be at church to worship God. You can worship God anywhere and anytime. When you are kind and help others, that's worship too. In your handbook, circle the pictures of the children who are worshiping God. Draw an X over the children who are not worshiping God. Let's do this together. Look at the picture of the girl singing. Is she worshiping God? She sure is. You should circle that one. What about the boy who's hiding the toy behind his back because he does not want to share? Is he worshiping God? No, he is not. He is not worshiping God. You should put an X on that picture. What about the boy who's kneeling beside his bed praying and reading his Bible? Is that worshiping God? Of course it is. You should circle that one. Let's look at the boy who's putting money in the offering plate at church. Is that a way to worship God? Yes, it is. Great job, Cubbies. You should circle that one. How about the girl who's visiting a friend in the hospital and bringing flowers and a card with her mom and dad? Is that a way of worshiping God? Yes, it is, because that makes God happy. What about the girl who, I guess that might be her mommy in the picture, and maybe she's arguing with her mommy, or it could be a friend and she's arguing with a friend? Is that a way to worship God? No, that's not a way to worship God. We should put an X on that picture. Great job, Cubbies.
Matthew 4:10. Worship the Lord your God. Matthew 4:10. Worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve.
Now that you've listened to your Bible verse, let's say the long version of it together. Matthew 4:10. Worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. What was our core truth? Do you remember? Say it with me. God is the one true God. Great job, Cuppy friends. Clap 3 times, jump once, and jump again. You're done with Bear Hug 10. You finished Red Apple Unit, and you should get a red apple emblem to attach to your pennant. So be sure to fill out the weekly check-in so that I know that I can send that to you. Have your grown-up helper sign your handbook. Have a great week, Cubby friends.